Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As you know, the keynote speaker is the co-founder and current president of the Renaissance Speakers, sometimes referred to as Lance Miller's Club, world champion of public speaking for 2005. Renaissance Speakers still has 44 days of bragging rights for District 52 as the #1 club for 2012-2013. When Distinguished Toastmaster Richard Stewart was the president. Roberta has her team reaching out for that goal again. And as she knows, there are several clubs in this audience that are taking a look at that top prize, wanting that bragging rights for 12 months with lunch with the district governor. You know our keynote speaker as the immediate past international let me give you that again. As the immediate past international director for Region 10. But did you know she experienced 31 hours of table topics over 4 days to win the election in 2010? You know our keynote speaker as District 52's Chief Ambassador for New Toastmasters, Revitalizing Education Program. More in this topic on her keynote. But did you know she started her Toastmasters career in Seattle, Washington, 6 months after Toastmasters voted women into the organization? She has been an active member of 5 districts. She loves the movies and still consults with 20th Century Fox Studios. So today's topic is right up her galaxy. Her title, taken from Star Wars Jedi Knight Master Yoda's journal, Ready Are You? Ready Are You? Please welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Roberta Perry.
Thank you for that sound effect. Actually, I think that came from my lightsaber. It wants more. There we go. I should never raid the archives of 20th Century Fox. Because where that came from was not from the archives of 20th Century Fox, but it came from your local store just a couple blocks away. So all of you can have a lightsaber. Good morning.
Good morning.
We've had a fun morning already. Interesting, hasn't it been? Yes. Well, are you ready for the rest of the day that's going to be filled with fun, fantasy, friendship, and a little bit of education? Are you ready for that? Or as Yoda would say, ready? Are you?
Yes.
Excellent. Who can tell me what happened on May 25th, 1977? Yes, that was the premiere, episode 4 of Star Wars. And I happened to be in Seattle, Washington at the time. I was a secretary for Stuart Anderson's Black Angus restaurant chain, and I wandered down the street. I went to the Star Wars opening, and it changed my world. Now, I had joined Toastmasters only 3 years before, but oh my goodness, when I got to see a Star Wars movie, episode 4, I went, wow, this is just like my Toastmasters Club. Right? Well, their Star Wars galaxy is a little bit more confusing than the Toastmasters galaxy. So these dates that you have before you are the dates of the next Star Wars. We've got to see episode 4, episode 5, episode 6. Now we're back at episode 1, 2, 3. And did you know that yesterday in London, the beginning shots were done for the new Star Wars movie, Episode 7. Now, I don't know about you, but I am so excited because it's a J.J. Abrams movie. And he rebooted Mission Impossible. He rebooted Star Wars. We got Lost out. I mean, this man is going to reboot. And did you know that George Lucas is not even a part of this one? He's retired, having his winery up in Napa Valley. But we all have great hopes that J.J. Abrams is going to bring us an amazing Star Wars. Now, how many of you have seen at least one Star Wars movie? Oh, outstanding. How many of you have seen it? All 6 of them. Anybody have their ticket yet for the 7th one? Not quite yet. They're scalped if you do. Who in this room has not seen a Star Wars movie? This gentleman back there, handsome man with the glasses on, come up front for a minute.
Please escort those people out.
Right by the top table. Come on up front. I have a gift for you. Because when J.J. Abrams comes out with a new movie in July of 2015, you're going to want to know what this entire galaxy looks like. So I got you Star Wars character encyclopedia. There you are. Enjoy the next Star Wars movie. Another gift you're going to have to borrow. Thanks, Glenn, though. I appreciate that. Anybody recognize Betty White? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Betty White and I think alike. When I left that first movie back in 1977, I knew I was a Jedi Knight. Now, the only difference between Betty and I, she's got her picture up there. So after this is done, George, wherever you are, I want my picture taken with my lightsaber so that I, too, can be on the internet like Betty White as a Jedi Knight. Now, I have one thing that I've done that she has not done, that I know. You ready?
Yeah.
The Themed Entertainment Association's The Awards, which is the Oscars for our industry, and I didn't have a date. So when I arrived, they said, "We have a date for you, Roberta. How would you like to have R2-D2 as your date?" I went, "Oh, this is spectacular. Of course I will take R2-D2 as my date." It's gotten a little old there, Ricky, but that's okay, Darth. But it was so much fun. I had such a good time. But let's stop and think about for a moment what it means to be a Jedi Knight. And a Jedi Knight is a knight very similar to those of you who have not seen any Star Wars movies. It's the Knights of the Round Table. It was taken after the King Arthur legends. In fact, when George Lucas did the very first Star Wars, did you know that he only had really 5 people to help him put that movie together? 5. Wow. They hired a few others, but very, very few people. He had 5 people. He convinced 20th Century Fox to take this movie on, and the 20th Century Fox thought it was going to be a throwaway kids movie. They took it on. They knew there were going to be 9 episodes, but it was a throwaway. And, oh, by the way, George, you can keep all the licensing rights. Mr. Lucas is a very happy camper. Very happy camper. But when I started looking back into what it meant to be a Jedi Knight, because I said I am a Jedi Knight, but I'm also a Toastmaster, is there any parallel between the 2 universes? And is there a parallel between the 2 universes, between being a Jedi Knight and also what we do in our clubs as Toastmaster leaders? This will show you some of the things that we do as Toastmasters and that you have to have as a Jedi Knight. And remember, to be a Jedi Knight, it takes 10 years of training. And then you have to train others to be a Jedi Knight. So it requires a lot of commitment, dedication. It's the attitude of never, ever, ever giving up. How many of you recognize that in your Toastmasters clubs? No matter what happens, you never give up, right? Always. Oh yeah, no Glenn does that, and I know Bob. Quote, which we all do or do not, there is no try. And you always have a plan B. I want you to meet my plan B this morning. Ricky Powell, who is our Darth Vader, when I came in this morning, there was a couple of things that needed to be done. He was my plan B. And Cersei was my plan B. Thank you, means to be a Jedi Knight, and I know all recognize this from our club leadership. You train and then you be trained. How many of you are going to go to the LACE? All right, a LACE in June and be trained. Every hand should be up in this room who are leaders in this organization. So it's an opportunity not only to train, but to be trained. And in your clubs, we should be doing that as well. How many people in this room have as policy for themselves and maybe for their clubs to do one competent communicator manual a year? Ooh, a few hands. I know Renaissance speakers, we do that. That's club policy. One competent communication manual a year. I highly recommend that. You can go through it in many different ways. You can go through it standardly. You could go through it as Dr. Smedley did in the beginning when you had 12 speeches and you could do the same topic all the way through. Or you could do it extemporaneously where the Toastmaster gives you your topic at the beginning of the meeting so you have a half hour or so to prepare a speech. Or for you leaders out there, try it impromptu style. Ask the Toastmaster to give you your title as you're walking up to do your speech. Now that is a test of a Jedi Knight. And I know I've got a room full of Jedi Knights and as leaders of our organization. Now if any of this sounds familiar to you, didn't we just go through our past DTMs? But I know, as our Jedi Knights are our DTMs, because it's taken you years to get your DTMs. I know there are several of you in this room that are getting your DTM today. Please stand up so we can recognize our own District 52. I know you're going to pass on to all of the upcoming DTMs everything that you've learned about being a distinguished Toastmaster in this organization. Now there's always changes in the Star Wars world. We don't know what's coming up with Episode 7. And there's always changes coming in Toastmasters. You never quite know what the Toastmasters organization is going to do because remember we're in 122 countries. We've got over 300,000 members. We have 89 districts. There's a lot of change going on in our own universe. And I want to give you a little update as to what's coming in the Toastmaster universe, especially to the distinguished Toastmasters. Let me first give you a little bit of history. Toastmasters, as all of you know, started in 1924. In 1942, we had our first basic training manual. Now, I wasn't around for that one, so. But in 1980, we had the advanced communication manuals, and I was here for those in District 1, and we got an opportunity to beta test a lot of those district advanced communication and leadership manuals. And then as all of you working in the communication and leadership manual, you know that in 2006, we had the communication and leadership manual. 2010, for those of you that at the International Convention, we voted in the new strategic 5-year plan for the organization, about ready to take a look at that again, and there'll be a new 5-year plan coming out within the next year to 2 years. So what is going on in our universe? Well, on July 15, 2015, only 2 months after Episode 7 is being launched, by the way, we are launching a brand new educational program. It's a revitalized program of the education. Now, I just want to make sure you know up front these things that are on the board. Number 1, the format of the club meetings are not going to change. Number 2, there is an overlap period of 24 months. And number 3, beta testing of the new program will begin in 2014. Now, yesterday I had the opportunity as the Chief Ambassador for District 52 to be on a webinar and various Chief Ambassadors from around the planet, and we were given information as to what is coming. We have ambassadors in the room that I will introduce you to in a few minutes. There'll be a lot more information that'll be placed on the website for Toastmasters International. You'll have a lot more website coming at the LACE conference in June, but I'm going to give you kind of an overview of the principles behind the new educational program. And by the way, your DTMs are sacred. So we're not ever losing our DTMs. Now again, a little bit of history that I thought would be interesting for all of you that came up in our webinar yesterday. Currently, it takes 2.8 years for us to get a communication manual. It takes us 3 years to complete a CL, and only 2% of our Toastmaster population worldwide even get a CL. 10% of our population out of the 300,000 are estimated to get a CC. We have 3 to 4 years it takes all of us to complete our advanced manuals, and look at the last one. Sound familiar, ladies and gentlemen? If it takes 10 years to be a Jedi Knight, it takes us a little over almost 9 years to become a distinguished Toastmaster. So some changes are coming down the road so that it doesn't take us as long to get the goals that all of us say that we want when we enter into a Toastmasters Club. Now, the mission of the new educational program, of course, is to produce a world-class educational program, to preserve Toastmasters' rich history and culture, to secure our future as an organization, and to offer real-world relevance. Because we are a global organization in 122 countries, and ladies and gentlemen, there are another 5 countries waiting to get their paperwork into Toastmasters International in order to become a district, or to at least have clubs in those countries. And it'll only continue to grow. Everything that you're going to be seeing over the next few months is all based on current practices. What's our core competencies that Toastmasters International, your board, and the Learning Masters are taking a look at as they put the program together? Well, we've got our standard public speaking, our interpersonal communication, our leading and managing, and I think most of you know that our Competent Leadership Manual has got leadership and management kind of smushed together. So some of that we're hoping is going to get sorted out so that we can train people on what does it mean to manage and what does it mean to lead. We're also going to be developing information and training on leading strategies, or leading strategically, so that we can better train ourselves in our real world for what we do in our organizations. And also, we're never ever going to forget, I don't know about you, but my self-confidence grew as a person when I entered into a Toastmasters Club. And I never leave it, because every week, not only do I find fun, fantasy, friendship, but that self-confidence is constantly there and being improved. Now, what are the guiding principles that the Learning Masters and the Toastmasters International are continuing with as we go forward with the new program? It will continue to be experiential. We're all going to learn by doing. That's not going to change. We're going to have a self-paced program. Nothing is going to change there. There will continue to be the peer feedback, and there will be mentoring. The way it's going to be delivered is going to be slightly different. A lot more technology that's going to be involved. Don't worry about that. There'll be a lot of training before we ever get to that opening bell on July 1st, 2015. Here's some interesting information that just came out of the webinar yesterday that I want to make sure that all of you get, is that this is what we envision that the educational program will entail. Of course, it's going to be a customized, an underlying customized learning experience based on your goals. Each of you have your own goals when you come into the organization. The program will be customized in order for you to get what you. We're going to have projects that challenge the members. Some of us that have been in it a while, trust me, there is going to be some challenging projects for us. And there'll be a gradient scale for a brand new Toastmaster all the way up and through all of us Toastmasters who have been doing this for a while. There's going to be a formalized mentoring program. There'll be more on that coming down in a little bit. And there's going to be online access and achievement tracking. I don't want to go into that piece of it. We'll have more information for you in June when you come to the LACE training. But just know they're going to be starting with some online assessment. Technology is in. Now we're going to, those of you who may not think of yourselves as computer literate, don't worry. We're even going to do computer classes so that everybody can be totally literate with the new technology. And if you have not paid attention in your real world to these terms, please Google them when you go home tonight. Internet of Things. Internet of Everything. And M2M, which means machine to machine. Technology is changing so fast that by July 1st, 2015, you never know what technology is going to bring to ourselves as Toastmasters and to our Toastmaster world. But definitely Google those 3 items because you're going to be surprised at what's coming down the board. Now our team is of course made up of Toastmasters International. All the staff is working very hard down there. We have as our team our learning masters. There were 240 learning masters that were selected from around the planet that work with our past president, Pat Johnson, in putting the program together. We have we're chief ambassadors. We're selected around the planet, 1 ambassador for every district, and I'm so honored and I was selected by District 52 to be your chief ambassador. And then we have an amazing team of ambassadors here in the room. And all of you have a handout from me, a black and white handout. The reason it's black and white is it's going to change very rapidly. You'll get some new ones coming in June. But if you turn those over, you'll see all of your ambassadors and those ambassadors that are responsible for your areas and then your clubs. As they get information, they'll be available to you to come out into the district and do the training. So they'll be your Jedi Knights going into the future as the new training program comes online July 1st. But again, we're going to start our training in June at the LACE conference. Again, thank you, everybody. Now those are not the only changes that Toastmasters is making. I'm going to give you one more, and boy, just be ready over the next couple of years. There's a lot more coming down the pipe. Or coming into the galaxy, I should say. We have, starting July 1st, 2015, there's going to be new terminology that's going to get into alignment with Toastmasters, but more importantly, in alignment with what is going on in the corporate world around the planet. So your district governor, starting July 1st, when Janet becomes your district governor, we're not going to be saying Madam Governor, we're going to say Madam District Director. Your Lieutenant Governor of Education and Training will be the Program Quality Director. Our Lieutenant Governor of Marketing will be Club Growth Director. Secretary Administrative Manager. Treasurer Finance Manager. Our PRO will be our Public Relations Manager. Our Sergeant at Arms, our Logistics Manager. Division Governors will be Division Directors. And our area governor will be area directors. Toastmasters, it is an exciting, exciting time. I've been in the organization since I was 2 years old, as all of you know. Joining just 6 months after they allowed women into the organization. I loved my club then. 27 men and me. I wish I'd have had one of those men instead of R2-D2 for my date for that night, but hey, I didn't quite get there with it. The Toastmasters has come a long way. I've seen so many changes. But I must tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and all my friends, what I'm seeing on the horizon is unbelievable. It will make this organization the leading communication and leadership organization in the world. I suspect we'll get people calling for us for accreditation at the universities and the colleges. We're all going to be able to wipe out all the uhs, ums, you knows, and so's, and all of that communication on the planet. Because the type of education that's coming forward and the changes that the board of directors and your executive group and Toastmasters International is making I want you to know, and trust me, I should have that little cat poster. Somebody had a cat poster that says, trust me. But trust me, it will be exciting. So all of you who are thinking that you've already done it all and there's nothing new, wait till July 1st, 2015, because it's coming around the bend, whole new program that's so, so exciting. And I leave you with these words, because I know I've quieted the whole room down now. We're going to have to get the Jedi Knights back up here in the dance music. But I leave you with these words. May the force of Toastmasters be with you.